Welcome to latest news blaster. For years, whispers, rumors, and hushed conversations circled behind closed doors about a story no one was ready to fully uncover. At the heart of it were two names, Blue Ivy Carter and Cathy White. On the surface, these names belonged to two entirely different worlds. Blue Ivy, the daughter of music royalty Beyonce and Jay-Z, and Cathy White, the woman whose name became entangled in one of the most mysterious chapters of hip-hop history. But today, the veil has finally been lifted. The truth they tried to hide for years, is out, and it's far more shocking than anyone ever imagined. It all begins with Cathy White. A rising figure during the early 2000s, Cathy's connection to the music industry was undeniable. Her beauty, her charisma, and her presence in powerful circles made her stand out. She wasn't a singer, she wasn't a rapper, but she had access. She knew names, she had friendships, and most importantly, she had ties to some of the most influential players in the game. But what the world didn't realize at the time was how deeply her story would intertwine with that of Beyonce, Jay-Z, and eventually their daughter Blue Ivy. Rumors first sparked when whispers of an alleged connection between Cathy White and Jay-Z spread across tabloids. For years, gossip columns hinted at a secret relationship, something that was never confirmed but always lingered like smoke after a fire. Cathy, however, was silent. She never went public, never gave an interview, and never fed the rumors. But silence in this industry can sometimes speak louder than words. Fast forward to the birth of Blue Ivy in 2012. A child born into unparalleled fame, her arrival was celebrated worldwide. She was destined for the spotlight before she could even speak. Yet behind the celebrations, skeptics, conspiracy theorists, and even former insiders began to circulate claims that connected Blue Ivy to Cathy White in ways no one could have predicted. The whispers grew louder. Some alleged that Cathy knew more about the Carter family than the world was allowed to hear. Others swore that she had been silenced, her story buried under contracts, NDAs, and pressure from powerful figures. Then, the most chilling part of the story unfolded: Cathy White's sudden and untimely death in 2011, just months before Blue Ivy's birth. Coincidence? Or something more? This is where the story takes a darker turn. Cathy's passing was labeled a heart attack, but skeptics have always questioned the timing. Why then? Why so close to the monumental announcement of Beyoncé's pregnancy with Blue Ivy? And why did those closest to Cathy claim that she had been preparing to speak out before her death? Some even allege that Cathy had plans to release her side of the story, one that could have shaken the foundations of the music empire. Now, over a decade later, new documents, conversations, and testimonies have surfaced, shedding light on the secrets that connect Blue Ivy and Cathy White. Sources close to the family claim that Cathy's knowledge wasn't just about Jay-Z's alleged past, but about the entire machinery that protected the Carter dynasty. According to one insider, Cathy knew too much. She had seen too much. And she understood the cost of silence, but the cost of speaking up? That was even higher. The link to Blue Ivy comes in the form of legacy. For years, there have been conspiracy theories that Blue Ivy's name itself held hidden meanings, acronyms pointing to deeper truths. Some believe that BIC, Blue Ivy Carter, mirrored the initials of Brooklyn Ice Cold, a phrase connected to Jay-Z's underground circle. Others went even further, tying the letters to Cathy's personal ties and hidden messages she allegedly left behind. Whether these theories hold weight or not, one fact remains undeniable. Blue Ivy has grown up in the shadow of a mystery that refuses to die. Every appearance she makes, every award she receives, and every time she takes the stage, people are reminded that her story isn't just about being the child of superstars. It's also about the unanswered questions surrounding Cathy White. Recently, investigative journalists have uncovered a string of communications, emails, text exchanges, and private notes, suggesting that Cathy had confided in close friends about her fears. In one chilling message, allegedly sent weeks before her passing, she wrote, "They don't want me to talk, but I can't keep this inside forever. The truth about them, about her, has to come out." Who was her? Was Cathy referring to Beyonce? Was she pointing toward Blue Ivy's future, or was she hinting at something far more complex, something we still don't fully understand? The secrecy has fueled documentaries, online exposés, and countless late-night debates across fan forums. And yet, even as these stories emerge, the Carter family remains silent. Beyoncé, the queen of maintaining privacy, has never once acknowledged Cathy White's name publicly. Jay-Z, known for his lyrical honesty and confessions through music, has also never spoken about the allegations. The silence only amplifies the questions. But silence doesn't erase history. Cathy's story lives on through those who refuse to forget. Friends who claim she was on the brink of revealing explosive details. Journalists who continue to dig despite threats and legal blockades. And a public that senses there's more beneath the surface than we've been allowed to know. As for Blue Ivy, she is no longer just the child in the shadows of this story. She has become a young star in her own right, winning awards, performing on stage, and carving out a name that is separate yet forever tied to her parents' legacy. But with every step she takes, the ghost of Cathy White lingers. People can't help but wonder, what did Cathy know about Blue Ivy's story? What truths were hidden, and why has no one dared to speak them aloud until now? The resurfacing of these secrets is more than gossip. It is a reminder of how power operates in the entertainment industry, how stories can be buried, how people can disappear, and how legacies are built not just on music and fame, but on silence and control. The world may never know the full truth, but one thing is certain: Blue Ivy and Cathy White will forever be connected in a story that the industry tried desperately to erase. And now, after years of whispers, the truth they hid has finally been exposed. The deeper investigators dig, the stranger the puzzle becomes. Cathy White's name doesn't just appear in scattered rumors. It shows up in old photographs, forgotten event guest lists, and even in conversations preserved by people who worked behind the scenes in the early 2000s. One former industry assistant, who only agreed to speak on condition of anonymity, recalled, "Cathy was always around the big players. She wasn't a random face. She was in the mix. If you paid attention, you knew she wasn't just another pretty girl at the party. She carried information, and people noticed that. That information, according to some, stretched beyond Jay-Z's personal life. Cathy allegedly knew about business deals, hidden partnerships, and the strategies that were used to maintain the spotless public image of the Carters. Insiders say she was trusted, but also watched. The closer she got to the heart of the empire, the more dangerous her position became. By the time Beyoncé was preparing to announce her pregnancy, Cathy's silence was no longer just convenient, it was essential. And yet, Cathy herself seemed restless. She reportedly confided in a small circle of friends that she didn't want her entire identity to be reduced to someone else's shadow. She wanted her truth to be heard, even if it came at a cost. But that truth, tragically, never reached the public in her own words. Instead, her sudden death left more questions than answers, leaving others to piece together the fragments of what she left behind. The most haunting part is how closely her timeline brushed against Blue Ivy's entrance into the world. Fans point out that Beyoncé's iconic pregnancy reveal, the unforgettable moment at the 2011 MTV Video Music Awards, came just weeks after Cathy's passing. The timing, critics argue, was too perfect. While many saw it as the beginning of a new chapter for the Carters, others felt it was the closing of another, one that was deliberately buried. In the years since, theories have only grown louder. Some claim Cathy's story was erased to protect Blue Ivy from being born under a cloud of scandal. Others suggest Cathy's silence was bought, and when she seemed ready to break it, her fate was sealed. While no hard evidence has ever emerged to prove these claims, the consistency of whispers, the patterns of timing, and the refusal of those involved to address the matter continue to fuel speculation. Meanwhile, Blue Ivy herself has stepped into her role with grace and quiet strength. Despite being born into the middle of one of the most scrutinized families in the world, she has shown resilience beyond her years. When she took the stage alongside her mother, fans couldn't help but notice her confidence. A reminder that she is not just living in Beyoncé and Jay-Z's shadow, but building her own light. Still, the backdrop of Cathy White lingers. The real question is, will Blue Ivy ever confront the story tied so tightly to her name? Or will she, like her parents, choose silence as her shield? For now, the connection between her and Cathy White remains one of the most mysterious untold stories in music history. And while some believe the truth will never fully come out, others are convinced that one day the missing pieces will surface and the world will finally see what has been hidden for so long. This moment will be remembered for years to come. If you were moved, hit the like button, subscribe to our channel, and share this report with your friends. More exclusive stories and emotional updates are on the way, so stay tuned.